Happy Thursday to you. It is April the 16th, and our e-learning today is going to be a review of exponents. And I was just thinking as I was looking at our review, it's pretty awesome that we were able to get through the curriculum that we were supposed to be getting through for your 8th grade math class, other than probability. And I will probably give you some instructional videos to watch for that. But that'll conclude all of the standards that we were supposed to cover in our Math 8 class. So today the review, the first review I believe has 4 questions over exponents. And the second exercise has 7 questions. I will put optional videos if you would like to watch those. I am going to do a couple of practice problems because some of you, if you just see a few practice problems, you're going to remember what we did in class. Some of you, you might need to watch the videos again because he'll do several examples and he might say something a little differently than what I did to help you out. I do want to make sure you guys remember, if you watch this before 2 o'clock on Thursday, I have just kind of a social time. If you would like to hop on there and see some people, let me know how the e-learning's going, in particular math, I guess, but all of it. That'll be at 2 o'clock, and I will post that on the Canvas. And then you also should have received an email from me. All of the middle school teachers are having office hours via Zoom. Mine, well, they're all Tuesdays and Fridays. Mine is from 11 to 12 on Tuesday, 11 to 12 on Friday. And I sent you the link through email. It is also on Monday's Canvas page, on the instruction page. So if that is really, if you're having questions, I plan on using the Thursday time kind of to socialize. And then if you've got questions, maybe on Tuesday and Friday. Here are several different examples. I'm going to scoot closer so you can see them easier. But I want you to notice this first one. And I think all of these 5, well, yeah, these 5 problems came from possibly questions you will see on the Khan Academy assignment. And they are multiple choice. They are asking you to rewrite this, not as a fraction, but as a I don't know what you'd call it, maybe a whole number. But remember, we're looking at negative exponents here. So if you wanted to rewrite this as 6 to some power, remember the base stays the same, so it is going to be 6. But when you flip, you have to make this a -5. And we use the phrase flippity-doo-dah. Number 2, if we need to flip this, the base is going to stay the same. It's going to be a 3. But keep in mind, if there's not an exponent, it's understood to be a 1 right there. And when we flippity-doo-dah it, it's going to become a -1. And I just want you to notice, it's positive in the denominator. When you flip it to the numerator, it becomes negative. Hopefully this looks familiar. I know it's been a while since we've done these. We found, and I did not teach this in class, I found this helping students who were struggling, that if you do not start with a fraction, put it over 1, and then it's much easier to see, oh, wait a minute, this is a negative exponent. I need to flip my base down to the denominator. And I'm going to make it 5 to the positive second power. But when I flip it, the 1 moves to the top, the 5 moves to the bottom. And so notice, these two are equivalent fractions. This one has a negative exponent. This one has a positive exponent. The negative exponent is in the numerator. Positive exponent is in the denominator. My z got erased a little bit. 1 over z to the 7th. If I want to rewrite that equivalent form, I'm still going to keep the z. But when I flip it to the numerator, my exponent becomes negative. So it becomes z to the negative 7, whereas it was 1 over z to the positive 7. Last one here, as far as in this first section, I'm going to go ahead and make this a fraction because it's so much easier to flip it now. I'm going to flip the base down to the denominator, and my negative exponent is going to become positive. I'm not even going to write a 1 there. But it did move to the denominator, so I make it 1 over a. And it could be 1 over a to the first, but I'm guessing in Khan Academy, they're just going to put it as 1 over a. The second part, you actually are asked to answer, fill in the blank, and they are wanting you to notice, okay, my bases are the same, so I know my answer is going to be a base of 5 because it's going to stay the same. And when I multiply bases, I get to add exponents. And so I'm going to take a negative 8, I'm going to add that to a negative 10, which gives me negative 18. The instructions didn't say anything about making the exponents positive or anything, so this should be an acceptable answer. Simply keep the base 5, add the exponents, make it 5 to the negative 18th. Very similar. My bases are the same here, so I'm going to keep my base as an x. Since it is a multiplication problem, I'm going to add my exponents. So I'm going to take 2, add to that a negative 12, which gives me negative 10 as my exponent. When you multiply bases that are the same, you get to keep the base and add the exponents. When you divide bases that are the same, you get to keep the base and you subtract the exponents. So you're going to take 10 and you're going to subtract 12, which puts you over in the negative world, 5 to the negative 2nd power. Multiplying like bases, keep the base, add the exponent. Dividing like bases, keep the base and subtract the exponent. Remember that phrase, when in doubt, write it out. And you can simply write out those numbers if you'd like and then cancel. That's how we started this chapter when we did it. Bases are the same. They're being divided. So I know I'm going to get 6. I need to subtract these. This is not negative 6 minus 5. This is negative 6 minus negative 5. And you have to be very careful with these integers here. When you subtract a negative, you get a boom boom, or add the opposite, or circle and make it a plus, whatever you helps you remember to do that. But you end up with a negative 6 plus 5, giving you a negative 1 as your exponent. Base stayed the same. We subtracted exponents. Last one here, and again, these all came from the Khan Academy exercise, so you may see one of these on your assignment. My bases are the same, so I'm going to keep the base, and since those bases are being divided, I get to subtract exponents. And it's very beneficial to just write out the subtraction problem. 7 minus a negative 14. If you don't write it out, sometimes you just look at that and say 7 minus 14 is negative 7. That's not what you are doing. When you subtract, you're saying 7 minus negative 14. You add the opposite right here, and a 7 plus 14 gives you 21. So z to the 21st power. I hope doing these review problems are enough to remind you of what we did back in our exponent section. If not, please feel free to watch those videos before you do the exercises. I also want to make sure that you guys remember, if you don't do well, it will say you can redo it. So please take your time, think about it, use a sheet of paper, write it down, and complete all 11 questions, 4 on the first section, 7 on the second section.